Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Coming up with the Season 5 Reloaded update this Wednesday, we are going to see our next major weapons update and our next major meta update drop within Warzone. And curiously enough, this is actually going to be one of the final major meta updates for all of Warzone 3. We obviously have Season 5 Reloaded, and then we've got Season 6, and then maybe Season 6 Reloaded a little bit after that contains some more weapon changes, but really, we don't have that many significant updates left this year before Black Ops 6 takes over, meaning this meta update and this weapons update could be pretty significant if they end up pushing live a few updates that they've previously talked about doing. But of course, we've got plenty of confirmed updates already for this weapons update, including the introduction of a couple of new weapons, although they're a little bit gimmicky, some new aftermarket parts in the coming weeks. Then ultimately, obviously, Season 5 Reloaded is going to have a full-on weapon balancing update. The full patch notes of the exact specifics of all of the actual meta and weapon changes will be live with the patch notes tomorrow morning, and I'll be covering those right as they drop. So stay tuned for that alongside everything else going on in COD by hitting that subscribe button, turning on those post notifications. And if you enjoyed the videos we dive into all the weapon update previews and details, a like is always seriously appreciated. It does help promote the video and send it out into the YouTube algorithm a little bit more. But of course, first things first, the largest part of the overall weapons update with Season 5 Reloaded is our two brand new weapons. And right as the update drops, we're actually going to have both of these weapons available to go through and unlock. Each of these new weapons is going to be free. However, you're going to have to complete some specific in-game challenges to actually go through and unlock each of them. So the first quote-unquote new overall weapon is the spear. Now, this one is definitely the most gimmicky and probably the least competitive of the two, because at the end of the day, this is still considered a melee weapon. And obviously, melees aren't really realistically a part of the meta. There are certainly some that are fun to mess around with and others that have like crazy lunge or they're super fast for mobility. But from an overall competitive standpoint, it's not going to be, a big game changer. That said, it is a very unique melee weapon because it's not just a melee that you can use to spam in the close range. This spear is also going to be a throwable object as well. You can actually charge this up, throw it, and it'll impale enemy players, and it can actually impale multiple players at once, potentially up to 3 enemies with one single throw. The likelihood of you getting that triple collat with a spear is probably pretty minimal. I'm sure we're going to see some clips of it in the coming days, which will be fun to watch, but it does have some unique aspects of it, with that being a melee and a throwable all-in-one. Here's how Call of Duty describes the spear themselves, though. They say, channel your inner Spartan with this razor-sharp serrated spear. This weapon boosts melee reach and can be thrown at enemies. Head into battle with 3 throwable spears that additionally offer extra range when fighting in close quarters. Retrieve your thrown spears to keep up the attack and utilize their rapid piercing strikes when engaging in melee combat. The spear introduces the new color wave and glitch base weapon camos, accessible by completing these spear specific in-game challenges. And the way that you'll be able to go through and unlock the spear is through a new classified sector in the battle pass. So that'll open up. There will likely be 4 base challenges you have to go through and complete first, and then one final challenge that'll actually go through and unlock the spear. So a little bit of grinding to actually unlock it, but then you'll have that, of course, permanently unlocked. The second of the new weapons coming with Season 5 Reloaded is going to realistically be a bit more competitive if they keep up with the actual, description of this. So this is the Torque 35. Technically, it's classified as a launcher, but really it's just a bow. And with this, they did say if you are able to fully charge this bow, pull all the way back on the drawstring, and achieve max velocity, this will be a one-shot headshot within Warzone. So in theory, this could compete, but it is going to depend on the overall feel and handling of the weapon at the same time, along with how often you're able to consistently use that max velocity full drawback to launch a bow, or I guess an arrow, at your enemies, right? But here's how they describe the Torque 35. A combat-ready compound bow with a 60-pound draw weight capable of taking down a large prey. Certain types of arrows are retrievable after being fired. Take aim and hit the target with this compound bow, providing customizable arrows and a red dot sight for improved target acquisition. The modern build features fast handling for quick follow-up shots with the option to fire from the hip when you need to shoot an arrow fast. the longer you hold the bowstring, the greater the strength of your shots. The Torque 35 introduces the last post and forum chaser base weapon camos, accessible by completing the Torque 35 specific in-game challenges. So there will actually be alternative arrow types you can use on this as well. It's not just going to be one base, arrow that you can shoot. So you can mess around with that, and that'll obviously impact the damage in various ways. And to unlock the Torque 35, this is actually going to be available through the weekly challenges. So the week 5 challenges are going to drop alongside season 5 reloaded, and then you can go through and unlock this through that, either by playing multiplayer, zombies, or Warzone, and doing the specific challenges needed for that. So pretty straightforward with the unlocks for each of these. Of course, neither of them are ultra competitive as just base weapons compared to things like an LMG or a rifle or an SMG or a sniper, but at least the compound bow, the Torque 35, does have some potential if it is able to fully go through in one shot, as they mentioned earlier. Now, alongside the base new weapons, we're also going to see 2 new aftermarket parts drop throughout the remainder of season 5. So these are going to become available in week 6 and week 7 via those weekly challenges. So in a week from Wednesday, we'll gain the first one, and then week after that, we'll gain the second one. The week 6 unlock is going to be the Jack Death March for the BAL 27. They say this aftermarket part replaces standard ammo with high voltage power cells in the barrel with a photonic scatter barrel. Fire a spread of lethal laser blasts that take down enemies at short range. So this is almost like a laser shotgun kind of aftermarket part for the BAL 27. Could be kind of interesting for the close range for sure. And then the week 7 unlock is going to be the Jack Devastators for the Reclaimer 18. And they say this is the dual wield Reclaimer 18 shotguns, and you can become a mobile artillery barrage with this aftermarket part. Accuracy and recoil control are minimal, but destruction is maximized. So yes, this is akimbo Spaz 12s, and something tells me those are going to be very popular in the close range meta if they're able to consistently, 2-shot knock in theory, which is a 1-shot knock if you're firing both weapons at the same time, or even if you can spam them up close in semi-autos. So both of these options could actually be pretty good for the close range meta. Of course, if they are worth using when those weekly challenges do get updated and they become available, we'll be talking about setups for them and whatnot right here on the channel. So again, stay tuned for that if necessary. And then of course, the final part of the weapons update and meta update coming with season 5 reloaded is the actual weapon balancing update. So we are going to see plenty of different weapon buffs and nerfs. However, alongside that, we're also going to see a couple of different weapons fixed, and they've actually confirmed a couple of these updates already with some fixed scheduled tabs on the Trello. So the Core 45 conversion kit, they had to go through and disable that because there was a glitch allowing you to use akimbo conversion kit Core 45s, which had a crazy broken TTK. So they've got a fix scheduled for that. The conversion kit should be back with season 5 reloaded. And then kind of the same deal on the akimbo Renetti. That rear grip was also temporarily disabled due to an exploit. So both of the akimbo options there for the Core 45, or just the outright conversion kit, and then obviously the akimbo Renetti should be working as intended after season 5 reloaded ends up dropping. Currently, as I'm recording this, no definitive confirmation on if the new RAL aftermarket part ammo is going to be updated or anything there, but I imagine that's also something that is on their radar. But of course, we're also going to see those weapon buffs and nerfs as mentioned. They have not gone into specifics with the vast majority of these. The only update they've alluded to previously is one that we've talked about a couple of times now, and that is that global meta update coming quote unquote around season 6. So that could just mean the straight up season 6 update. We could also see starts of that though with the season 5 reloaded update, and what they alluded to when we spoke to the devs last was buffing a lot of the underwhelming weapons to sort of raise the tide altogether and make all weapons more competitive with some of the top options there. So that would be attacking some of the underwhelming MW3 guns, or more importantly, the underwhelming and underutilized MW2 guns, and bringing those up to speed with the MW3 options, buffing the MW2 attachments as well. They also mentioned more sniper updates were inbound. They do plan on making some of the bolt action snipers from MW2 one-shot capable without using any specific ammo, so they'd basically function as a normal sniper just like the MW3 snipers. It's quite possible that we do see some of those updates take place with season 5 reloaded. And then I think honestly the most obvious updates we should be seeing are nerfs to the static and the STG. Those are kind of monopolizing the meta right now, and if each of those ended up getting some nerfs, we'd actually have a super competitive meta, as we've broken down recently. Like the SMG meta is super close outside of the static, which is dominating with its range and its fast TTK. And then with the STG, its close to mid-range TTK is just so much better than everything else that it's not really worth using anything else. But if that were to get a nerf, then suddenly you have a super competitive rifle meta, especially if they go through and they buff other options too. So those are two changes I would definitely expect with Season 5 Reloaded, and I'd honestly be pretty surprised if they left the static and the STG untouched, despite the fact that yes, obviously they're battle pass weapons for this season. They want players to go through and get those, but mid-season updates rolled around. There's been a lot of time with these at the top of the meta. We could definitely see some changes there. But yeah, all that said, that is effectively everything we currently know, then also what to expect with some of the meta updates and weapon changes with Season 5 Reloaded. As I mentioned, full patch notes drop Wednesday morning. I'll be breaking them all down in full detail right here as they surface, so feel free to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything going on in COD. And if you enjoyed the video, a like rating on your way out would be seriously appreciated. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.